Hi everybody, my name's Michelle and I am coming to you today in the beginning of a series of videos about fibromyalgia and how those of us who have it deal with it and live with the chronic illness. So I may be looking to the side from time to time just because I wrote everything down and I like to stick with my list. So let me start off. My name is Michelle. And I have 6 kids. I have 5 boys and 1 girl, and I have 2 fluffy golden retrievers and 1 silly old cat. He's extremely cranky all the time lately, and he just meows constantly. It's amazing. He never stops meowing. I have a husband who's my soulmate. I have been married to him for almost 20 years. I'm very proud to be his wife. And I think he's the most amazing partner a person could ever have. Okay, so I was born in Quebec and moved to the United States. When I was younger, I lived in the States for about 30 years, met my husband on Vashon Island, and we moved Canada Day 2017. We arrived in Halifax, Nova Scotia because we decided to move back to Canada. We are moving back to the United States because I cannot get adequate care for my fibro in Canada. So we're actually going back to the United States, and I'll get a little bit more into that as the video goes along. Specifically for me, I have fibromyalgia, I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and I'm going through menopause because of some cancer issues. I am now in full menopause. So I kind of have an awesome trifecta going on. So I never really know exactly what's going to happen with my body day to day. But I just try to make the best of every day. I try to keep a positive attitude as much as possible and try to find happiness and music in whatever I can. Yeah. So I'll talk a little bit about how people perceive us. One of the things that I think is kind of difficult for people with fibromyalgia is that we look pretty together on the outside. People don't really tend to think that we're sick, and most of us have to perform and live at a very functional level. I work full time with a lot of really, really super healthy people, and they would not know that I was sick unless I told them. We do tend to, however, get more sick than those around us because we have an anti-inflammatory disorder within our body. We are living with weakened immune systems, and not only that, we also catch these awesome things, and I'm going to say catch, but fibro flares. So what this is this evil incarnate thing that decides to invade our body and make us extremely ill, usually with no outward symptoms. So we barely can walk, hardly eat, have a migraine that feels like a truck just ran over our head, sore throat, upset stomach, you name it, and there's nothing there. No one can see anything because we don't have a fever. We don't have any outward visible signs of being sick, but it's a fibro flare. And it's this disease just revving up its engine and going, you worked yourself too hard one day, and now your body's got to rest. I actually just got over a fibro flare that I developed after a wonderful Mother's Day a week ago. I walked too much and had a beautiful time with my family and was sick for 4 days because of it. So those of us with fibromyalgia have to be extremely careful because those around us just see us as people who are either not really sick and trying to get attention, or people who are always sick and feel sorry for us, I guess. It can be very, very difficult. I personally just realized what these fibro flares are. I was diagnosed in 2015 with fibromyalgia. I believe that I had it for quite a while prior to that, but I was just diagnosed in 2015. And I've been doing a lot of research and learning quite a good deal about this disease since. And these fibroflares are something that I have dealt with for so many years. I just did not know what they were. So it's something that feels kind of like the flu and a cold and migraines and sore throats and all these things all at once. And you just have to rest. That's all you can do is rest. For those of us that can't rest and have to work, it can be pretty difficult. I'm pretty lucky to work at a company right now. I'm just a term employee. And since we are moving back, that's going to be a little bit different. But I am pretty lucky right now to work at a company where I can actually take time out, go to a dark room when I have a migraine and I'm dealing with a flare. I am so blessed in that area. And I really do think that more companies need to be aware of the fact that people with this disability need these things for themselves, because we can't function like normal people. I mean, normal people, but we can't function on a level that other people do who don't have this disease. A typical day for someone who has fibromyalgia, it can vary so drastically. Sometimes I feel fantastic. I feel like I'm going to get up and I'm going to repave the driveway, and then I'm going to take the dogs on a 7-mile run, and then I'm going to go comb the beach for the most beautiful stones. Then I'm going to come home and I'm going to cook lunch for like everybody on my block, and then I'm down. So most days I don't feel that way. Most days I'm exhausted when I wake up. I don't ever feel like I've ever gotten a good night's sleep since I've developed this. I'm always exhausted when I wake up in the morning, and I always feel stiff and my body aches in many, many ways. I ache in my muscles, I ache in my joints, I ache in my head. I usually have a sore throat. I never, ever feel good when I wake up in the morning. And that can be kind of difficult to live with, because you want to wake up and you want to feel good. I used to be such a morning person. My husband used to hate it because he's not a morning person. So I would get up and jump on the bed and say, come on, time to get up. Let's go do something. That doesn't happen anymore. I would love to, but I do like to get up, and I love to sit and I love to have coffee with my husband and enjoy watching the news together and listening to the birds and sitting with our dogs for a few minutes before I get up and have to trudge myself off to work. And I literally mean trudge, because it is difficult for me to move most of the time. When I was living in Washington State, which is where I lived, Vashon Island, before we moved to Puyallup area, I actually had great care. I had a doctor just specifically for the pain that I deal with in my body on a daily basis. I had a great regular physician, and honestly, I was able to get my care in Washington. Since I've been here, the pain is increased tenfold because I cannot get good care here. I love Canada. I love it. I do not want to move, but the lack of care is so strong that I cannot live here any longer. And we're going to spend a fortune just trying to get back to the States now, so that my poor family does not have to hear me crying on a daily basis. I wish that weren't the case. My family has been so supportive and so helpful. I just honestly, my boys help me so much now. My husband is just such a blessing to me. I am truly, truly lucky. It was a little bit difficult, mind you, when I was first diagnosed, for everyone to understand what goes on inside my body and what goes on when I get sick. I had to give my husband articles to read to understand fibro and what it does to your body. And I also gave him information about the Hashimoto's thyroiditis as well, because that is just another fold in this whole thing that I deal with. And actually, I think that we've come a long way. But I think that getting back to the States is going to be such a helpful thing for me. We're not going back to Seattle. We're not going to go back to that area, Puyallup. we don't want to drive that far again. It was 4,000 miles just to get here. And honestly, boy, I feel like I've got another flare coming on because the stress of this move is just wearing me down. It's taken quite a toll on my body, and I keep trying to battle it. I take about 20 vitamins a day. It's like a meal, and those vitamins are. But honestly, I just feel like I'm headed for another flare, and that's it's not a fun thing to think about. A person with fibro does not want to think about having another flare, especially when I just got over one. That's a little bit about me. That's a little bit about what I deal with. I would love for you to give me comments and tell me what it is that you deal with. What I want to do is every day I want to bring you a little bit of joy. I want to bring you a little bit of laughter. I want to bring you a little bit of love. And I want you to know that you're not alone. It was really hard for me before I found some online groups. It was so hard. I just felt so alone, like I was the only one in the world going through the things that I was going through. You know, walking around for a day feeling like I had no pants on. I had to keep checking to make sure I had pants on because I was going through fibro fog. I forget the simplest things. And honestly, it was so nice to hear about other people who are dealing with what I'm dealing with. And honestly, you know, that's what I want to bring to you. I want you to understand that you're not alone. There's a lot of us out there that are dealing with exactly the same thing. And I'm hoping that this video blog is going to be able to help somebody. Somebody out there is going to benefit from this. So I'm going to sign off. Love, light, blessings. And I hope that you have an amazing, amazing day.